All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me. This is another Coyote Radio show and podcast. Can't say enough. Thank you all for all the support. We've got a great guest today. Chris Canterbury's with us. He's down in Nashville, Louisiana raised. Great writer, I think. I'm new to his music, but I'm a fan right away as soon as I discovered it. But he's been at this game for a little while now, and I think it's showing. His latest project here, Quaaludes and Lullabies, is out now. You can check it out on his website. It's on streaming platforms. You can buy vinyls, merch. He's on the road. He's doing some touring, so you might catch a live show and see him out and about. Link in the description there if you want to check out his website. I do want to say thanks to everyone for the support. The podcast, the show it's all growing. Things are going well. We have a website now, Coyote Radio Show and Podcast.com. And I hope by the new year, we're going to have merch. So we're going to have some t-shirts, some posters, and we're going to start making, there's going to be some art available. Obviously, this is called the Coyote Radio Show and Podcast. So I'm going to sell some coyote hides, some coyote skulls, some different unique stuff that plays, ties into the show. So, yeah, I think that's it. Let's go talk to Chris. All right, Chris. Thanks for joining me on the show. I'm fairly new to your music. I don't know, probably I'm about 4 months in, maybe. So I'm loving what I'm hearing. I just kind of want to know your story and how you got to where you are now. I know you're from Louisiana. I love Louisiana. I've spent a lot of time there. If you could just kind of take us on that journey, how you got started into music and kind of your inspirations and that sort of thing.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me on. I kind of got started. I got started late, as it is. I was 19 when I got my first guitar, and just kind of played around, kind of picked around, and learned how to play some cover tunes. And it probably was maybe a couple of years after that I started writing like songs. And then probably maybe a couple of years after that when I wrote songs that I was not ashamed to, to play in public. And kind of worked my way around the North Louisiana circuit before ultimately ending up in Nashville, and I've been here for 10 years now. So.
Yeah, I noticed on the discography you've been at it for a while. How has that changed for you over the time? Like, I'm sure the approach has changed. Your style's probably changed in your writing process and all that. You think Nashville's helped kind of mold you a little more, or made things worse?
I mean, Nashville's great, man. It's more of a networking hub than it is. It's a business, and if you want to, the music is a business, and if you want to be in the business, you gotta come here. If you want to play country music, then that's kind of the thing. I tell people a lot. They were like, why'd you go to Nashville? I was like, well, if you want to be an actor, you don't move to Cedar Rapids. You move to move to LA. But yeah, I think Nashville's it's definitely been like a huge part of growing in this career. And it's I've met some of my best friends here and in the business, and it's just one of those things where it's like I heard, I'm probably going to butcher this, but I heard someone say one time, or read somewhere, that Nashville's within a 10-hour drive of 70% of the United States population. And it's like, thought that was I was like, well, that explains, that explains a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm here in central Indiana, and Indianapolis is considered the crossroads of America. But I think Nashville's you're a lot closer to the southern half, and yeah, you're probably in a better spot than where I am as far as reaching people physically.
Yeah, I think so. It's and there's a lot of opportunity here. There's a lot of opportunity that I've had here that in no way, shape, or form I would have gotten, staying in Louisiana, or or whatever. Like, it would have definitely would have, it's people that I've met, and things that I've things that I, even just recording the records and stuff like that. It's just the talent, like the talent pool for players here is just like unmatched anywhere else.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure there's a slew of pickers to choose from if you want to cut a record. What about this new one? We gotta talk about Quaaludes and Lullabies. I mean, the title of the record itself is like, I gotta check this out.
I mean, it's a record made for people that like downers. It's
And
a
that's me.
uh, it's like a buddy said not too long ago. I heard, like, just in passing, said, he's like, yeah, man, all of my favorite bands do slow drugs. I'm like, well, that's how I write songs.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some tough lyrics, there's some tough topics, and I don't know. There's so many. I gravitate towards that kind of music more often than not. Um, the downers that have like good lyrical content and meaning behind them. So obviously your stuff's right in my wheelhouse for what I like to listen to. And that's always been a question of like, why do people want to listen to it? What does it make you depressed? You got an answer why people would like? I mean, I know what I say and why, but it's always interesting to hear other people's reasoning for listening to such depressing music.
I think it has a lot to do with the fact that, like, sadness is a really, really um I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. Sadness is a really intense emotion, and it's the one thing that, like, you can listen to music and feel something, or you can listen to music and actually feel something. And
Yeah.
that's the and I think that's the crux of the whole thing, is that it's like sad songs are easily relatable, because everybody, like, no matter, everybody is sad. They're they tend to be slower, so they're easy. The lyrics are easier to comprehend, as you're listening to them. So it evokes, to me, it evokes, like, an immediate, like, vision, of the song. And the more time you have to write, the more time you have in between words, the more time you have in between verses and choruses, is the more time you have to describe something. So usually they're more like vivid in imagery.
Yeah.
I've,
I like that.
that
Yeah.
might that might all be complete bullshit, but I don't. I mean, it's
Well,
still.
hey, I mean, it makes sense to me. Like you're telling a story throughout the song, and you're giving enough time for someone to actually process it, feel it, and kind of even picture it going down, whatever it may be. Yeah, writing it's one thing because I think that's a whole therapeutic deal for the writer. But as a listener, I think it's just a human thing that we all can connect to. We've all been through hell and back sometimes, and just to know someone else is out there going through it and you're not alone. I think that's why a lot of people listen to it.
Like, even if you've never been through it, like, or, specifically, like, like, there's, I'll use Back on the Pills as an example. That's like, even if you've never personally dealt with a opioid addiction or whatever, you still, it kind of like, it just kind of lets you know that there's somebody out there that either A, has, or B, somebody else out there has it worse than what you do. It's almost like listening to something like that is kind of like not refreshing, but it's a reminder.
Right. Yeah. Well, great tune, by the way. I'm glad you brought that one up. What's some other ones on the record that you really think shine through? We got 9 tracks on this record.
Um, to me, the opening track, "The Devil, the Dealer, and Me," is that's the kind of the song that set the tone for the record. Not only is it the first song, not only is it the first track, I think. Let me make sure.
Yeah, it is.
On my yeah. I mean, I've got a CD right here handy. Uh, Not only is it the first track, but it's also the first one that I kind of put together for the like to start recording, start the process of recording. So it kind of set the tone for what I kind of what I wanted everything to sound like slash kind of the feel of the record, and it ultimately led to the title, Quaalude Lullabies, because I was actually toss up between just calling the record "The Devil, the Dealer, and Me," or then I was like, I want to name a record that that's not from a song, and then I thought that was just kind of popped in my head, Quaalude Lullabies, and it's like this is perfect. I'll have to explain this to my mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ultimately ended up being the kind of the when I started like curating songs for it and going back through my work tapes and all my song lists and stuff, I was trying to pick out songs that I felt would lend to the theme of the record, which is just kind of like, all right, this is just a journal entry of despair, basically. Kind of it's like I don't want it to be. It doesn't need to be polished. It doesn't need to be super production heavy. I just want each song just kind of speak for itself, and and basically just stand on its own as a moment in time. Like as if this is what was going on when this song was written, kind of deal.
Yeah. Now it'd been a few years before that, before your last project. Trying to think what I read. Was it 2017?
Yeah, it was five. It was a 5 year
Okay.
5 year hiatus.
So in that whole time, that's when you were making this project, or some of these songs you've held on to for years and they're just finally coming out.
A few of them, yeah. I believe, like "Fall Apart," I wrote probably around 2017, like probably right after, more than likely right after I recorded Refinery Town, because I would have put it on there. I would have put that song on there if it had it before then. But yeah, most of them were written in that time period, which with a handful of them were written actually from like in 2020. The Devil, the Dealer, and Me I wrote in 2020. Heartache for Hire, Sweet Maria, and Over the Line were all written in 2020.
Yeah.
And then Felt the Same, I actually started writing it like in 2013, I think, and just didn't finish it until
Oh, okay.
2019 or 2020.
Yeah, that Heartache for Hire, I like that one. Really sticks with me. I like that tune a lot. What else stuck out to me? Yellow Mama. I was trying to figure out what was going on. Now I knew what it is when you were talking about it. I'm like, all right, it's an electric chair.
It's that's an old Will Kimbrough song. I think he put it out on an EP. I mean, probably 10 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, I was unfamiliar with it.
And it's about it's just a little like string band kind of a dirge about the Alabama electric chair.
Yeah. Painting it yellow. That's some caution. Extreme caution.
Yeah.
So I mean, what have you been listening to? Like what kind of songs do you pull inspiration from when it's time to write, or in general, just what do you like to hang out and listen to?
I don't really honestly, I don't listen to a lot. I don't listen to a ton of music. I mean, obviously everybody listens to music, and like
Right.
I have I have my favorites that I'll go to. But sometimes I guess when I was going back through Spotify just gave me my like most played song of the year, and it was Yellow Mama. From when I was trying to learn we're trying to learn some because it's
Yeah.
I didn't do the entire song. I only cut I think I cut out 3 verses out of it just to shorten it up a little bit. Um, but I was originally trying to learn the entire thing, and so I listened to it over and over and over again. But as far as music goes, man, I like I listen to a lot of Guy Clark. Still, like I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Um, Steve Earle, Rodney Crowell, just that group of,
Yeah.
of that era of songwriters, and then yeah, some buddies. I got buddies in town who put records out, and I'll give those I'll give those a hefty spin. Gabe Lee's one of them. I mean he's so good.
Yeah.
Um, and
I've
then
seen him not too long ago. The show at Duke's Indy.
oh nice. The Zach, my buddy Zach Logan's another one here in town. That's like he put a record out, a little EP out a few years ago, and it still gets a lot of heavy spin here.
Yeah.
But I for like inspiration wise, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I just like stories. This American Life, I think, isn't it? Yeah, This American Life is a podcast that I because I'll listen to one, and something else, they'll say something that'll catch my attention. I'm like, oh, that needs to go in a song. Um, but it's mostly inspiration wise. Musically, it kind of comes from Guy Clark, Steve Earle, Todd Snyder. Uh,
Yeah, all killer writers.
Really big fan of Springsteen.
Okay.
Some of those older, and then some Ozark Mountain Daredevils is another one that I can listen to. I just kind of throw on the band.
Yeah.
But like lyric wise, it's kind of just stories that I read and I hear, different places. Somebody will say something, and it'll get me to start putting it all down, kind of putting it in form, and I'll
Yeah.
finally
That-
make it.
That's great. There's definitely some names in there that I listen to as well. What's how's the touring going for you? You got some shows coming up or anything we should probably plug?
I've got yeah, man. There's really cool little things coming up. I'm not sure when. I don't know when this will air or whatever.
Probably next week.
Okay.
Pretty laid back show.
Um, it'll I'll be in Key West the first the first week of December for Revival, which was used to be a writers round here in Nashville, is kind of doing the whole road show, kind of turn it into a road show, and we're going to Key West the first week, the December 2nd and 3rd, and then the January is kind of taken up. I'm doing Mile Zero Fest in Key West again, and Music Fest at Steamboat this year.
Okay.
And then just
Mile Zero, I always kind of wanted to get down there. I got friends that play that, and I was just like, I'm so busy at what I do for work for a living. It's just like it's impossible to get away that time of year.
it's really nice to be able. This year is going to be interesting because I'm going from I think the first week of January I'll be in Steamboat, and I played that one last year, and it was the day I got there it snowed like 3 foot and was about I think it was about 3 degrees the whole time, and
Really?
then I'll go from I'll go from there, come home for a week, and then go to Key West for a week.
Freeze then sweat.
It'll be interesting. But other than that, we're working on some tour dates for some more festivals and tour dates for early 2023 now. And I've got a few house shows coming up in the next couple of months, and I'm still trying to, like, usually this time of year is a good time to lean into house concerts, like in like private shows, and it's
Yeah.
opening up my open. I've got a link on my website for if anybody wants to reach out and have one. And there's a place on the website where you can go and kind of hit me up, and we can work it out. That's kind of my favorite way to play these days is do the little like intimate house shows. It's,
Yeah, that especially for a guy like with your kind of music, that it's the best way, in my opinion, for people that really truly care about music and they're just not at a bar to get drunk with their friends, and they can pay attention and watch and and really take it in. That's the best way to experience music. I love little house shows.
it's great, man. It really is to me it's my favorite. It's my favorite kind of gig. That and like the little like listening rooms and theaters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can bring, I can take a band out, but it's if you can, if I can get 30 people to sit down for 90 minutes and just listen to me tell stories and sing my songs and then actually pay me to do that, it's like it's almost the perfect career.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm in the process of building a little. We just moved to this house, and then there's a barn in the back that I'm converting into like a studio. But at one point, we're gonna house some shows there at some point, intimate shows, private shows. So might have to hit you up, man.
I'd be happy to. I need to make it up to Central Indiana more.
Yeah, we got a decent little scene. I mean, I wish it was better. I feel like Indianapolis gets skipped a lot because as far as touring goes, um, even though it's crossroads of America, it's like, well, if they are in Chicago and they're heading south, it's either they're going to hit Louisville or Cincinnati and just skip us because it was too close to one of those other three cities. So we're kind of like too much in the middle,
Right.
but it's still good. We got a couple little spots I like, venues. There's a great little honky tonk that's called Duke's Indy. It reminds me a little bit of Nashville as far as where the locals would probably more likely hang, not a Broadway type deal. But then there's a hi-fi venue in the Radio I threw a show at that's in like the art district of Indianapolis. So there's some cool little spots that bring some good music to town.
I've heard of Dukes, and I've heard of was it Hi-Fi? Is that what it is?
Yeah, yeah. And since COVID, they've actually opened up the back parking lot and made an outdoor section too. So and they've been doing a lot of shows out there, and it's a nice space for an alley type. But they'll have some big shows there.
Cool.
So definitely, yeah. For anyone listening, the link to his website's down in the description. So if you want to check that out, and you got merch down and all that good stuff too, or
I do. I have a few T-shirts. I've got CDs and vinyl on there. And it's if you're so obliged to visit the store and you want to purchase something, you have the option to do that. So,
great. Yeah,
sign up for the mailing list as well. While you're there.
good deal. Well, man, like I said, I don't want to keep you too long. I appreciate you being on. Any last thing you want to shout out there that the people should know about?
Um, no, man, I appreciate you having me on. Yeah, I do want to say that I do have I am releasing I'm putting a Christmas song out. I'm doing a cover of John Prine's "Christmas in Prison."
Oh, yeah. I love John Prine. Jeez.
It'll be out on I think it's on November I think it's on November 30th.
Okay.
It'll drop, but that'll a little something for the holidays. And yeah, man, I just appreciate you having me on. Appreciate everybody listening. And it's been this record's been really I didn't I'm not going to say I didn't expect it to do well because I knew it was a good record. I knew it was a good record when we made it. I wasn't expecting the amount of attention it got, and it's been really nice, especially for an old man like me.
No, I think it's great, and I feel like with the records I've been listening to that you've put out, like you can see the progression and hear and see the change, and the hard work's paying off. I think the music's just getting better for you, in my opinion.
I appreciate that. That it's like I can't do it without people that you can't do it without people that'll listen, and really like you
Right.
really appreciate the people that do that. That's the core of what I do is having somebody listen to me ramble. So
Yeah, that's what I feel like I'm doing on the podcast half the time. It's I just want people to hear good music that's out there. It gets overshadowed by mainstream stuff that just gets pumped in us from the minute we leave the house. It's on the radios, it's in the grocery stores, over the intercoms, and there's just so much good music out there that gets overlooked. And there's a lot of people that deserve a lot of attention that don't get it. So that's why I started this podcast.
no, I appreciate it, man, and that's the thing. It's like I don't not what I do and what they do for what the job that I do and the job that that somebody on the radio does are two different things. Like they might sound similar, and we might do separate things, but do separate do things that are similar, but it's it's like what I do and what they do is two totally different things, and it's a like I said, it's a breath of fresh air that we have the ability to that I have the ability to do this. It's sometimes it humbles me in the fact that I'm like, hey man, I get to do this for a living. Like I get the opportunity to write songs and then go out and play them, and people pay me for it. That's
Surreal.
it's a very nice thing, and I'm really appreciative of the people that actually do listen. I'll say that I wasn't judging by my past records when I posted everything on my online store. I wasn't expecting as much I wasn't expecting as many sales as I've gotten, on the vinyl and the CDs and stuff. Just from fans and from new fans, from people who followed me on Twitter, and then 2 days later they bought 2 vinyls, and it's like, man, that's what helps. That's what helps. That's what keeps me going. That's what It's like,
right.
Got to have those kind of fans, and like I said, I'm really appreciative of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm happy I found your music, and we'll be in touch, man. Keep it going.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right, man. We'll see you later.